On Monday the 9th of September, Deakin students gathered from a number of faculties to take part in a Model United Nations on combating climate change and committing to global action. The event was organised by United Nations Association of Australia and held at Deakin Downtown as a part of Deakin University's commitment to sustainable development. The Model United Nations aimed to run as a simulation of the UN General Assembly, following UN protocols and procedures throughout. As Assembly delegates, students were given the opportunity to step into the shoes of a country ambassador to the UN, discussing global issues on the UN's current agenda and finding ways of addressing these issues. Prior to the day, students were allocated a country, with their role as country delegates to represent their UN member state as a team. Students were advised to prepare a 2 to 3 minute position statement prior to the event. Acting as Secretary General for the event was Carlisle Richardson, an international relations expert with a particular focus on the UN, sustainable development and small island developing states. Carlisle has a long history with the UN and was involved in negotiations for establishing the landmark Sustainable Development Goals and the preparations for the Paris Agreement on climate change. Students attended the event with a range of motivations in mind, such as learning how countries negotiate and as a way of reducing their own impact on climate change.
I'm a third-year student doing environmental management and sustainability at Deakin University. I really like the degree. It's really good, and I'm very passionate and interested in waterway management. I'm very passionate about climate change. I feel like it's an issue that we really need addressing, and I wanted to get the ins and outs of how negotiations and compromises and all that works when countries and all that are dealing with all the big issues that we're facing.
Hi, my name's Tanya. I'm studying a Bachelor of Early Childhood Education at Deakin. I'm in my third year. I'm at this conference because I got an email from the university and it sounded like a really good opportunity to learn about climate change. I've started looking into it in the past maybe a year and a half, just looking at little things I can do and at home and things. I thought it'd be really interesting to see what the actual countries and governments are doing on a global scale. I run the Education Society at Deakin as well, and we're trying to do more of a sustainable movement, so I thought it would give me some good insight for that as well. I did a lot of public speaking in primary school and early high school, but haven't done it in a few years. And going into teaching, I think we do a lot of presentations in class and things like that, so just working on my communication skills and confidence in public speaking and getting to know new people and networking and yeah.
Throughout the session, students were involved in drafting, editing and perfecting their amendments to the draft resolution, taking into account the views of other countries. Students were reminded that their own opinions were irrelevant on the day and to be in the character of their assigned country. Students were to express their country's views and seek the views of other countries in debating and proposing amendments to the draft clauses. By the end of the session, students had adopted a new UN resolution addressing climate change and calling countries to action.
I just engaged in a Model United Nations conference alongside Caprice, and why did I decide to do this? Well, I really liked the idea of trying to emulate the actions and mindset of nation states and to try and understand how diplomacy works and how states get along with others. I thought it was important to try and learn by getting involved in practical opportunities such as this. So I thought it was very engaging and it allowed me to improve my negotiation and cooperation skills.
I think it's been a really good opportunity. I've learned a lot today about all the different countries and what they're doing for climate change and how much of an issue it actually is. A lot of things I didn't realise about funding and agricultural needs and how developing countries don't actually have resources and things like that to actually and the funds to invest in climate change because they have bigger issues to deal with as a result of natural disasters and things. So yeah, I think it's been a really informative day.
Event organisers were overall pleased with the students' preparedness and their ability to get into character of the countries they were representing.
Alright, well this Model UN reminded me of my time at the actual UN General Assembly, and I'd like to commend the students because they were so well prepared that it felt as if it were the actual countries who were speaking when they made their statements.
If this event strikes your interest, the United Nations Association of Australia is always looking for young people interested in getting involved. They have a number of exciting upcoming events, so check them out online.